Yo, what's up? This is going to be a video about Chaos Turbo side decking. I don't know if this video was made before by some other creator, but you know, for some people, maybe it will be interesting to see how I personally side. I'm not saying this is the best way. Um, this will be mostly nicey theory, but maybe I will say something or show something that he doesn't agree with. So don't think that every word I say is also his word. This is how I do it, but it is still based on nicey theory because you can already see that the main deck is basically the same. I included Torrential because I know that most of you will play it anyway, and I like to play it sometimes as well. And this side deck is also what you could very commonly see, something like that. So okay, let's just start. Okay, and there are some things that may not be very standard, like Tsukuyomi is inside, and maybe you could argue that this is more standard. But for the purposes of this video, it doesn't really matter that much. You can have Tsukuyomi in the main or inside, and the post side configurations will be pretty much the same. Okay, so let's go. Let's say that this is your main deck, and this is your side deck, and let's quickly jump over the side cards and just quickly describe which matchup they would come in. So Tsukuyomi, if you don't main her already, it is obviously for control matchup because she can, you know, destroy 1000 eyes, and she is also for warrior matchup because a lot of warriors have less than 1000 defense, so Tsukuyomi can kill them. Triple Zombaira is most commonly used for warrior matchup because, you know, he can kill most of the warriors, most notably Bellade Knight and Kiko the Ghost Destroyer. Card destruction is basically for every deck that does not himself play Thunder Dragons and Night Assailants. Some people like to main it even so, and some people like to side it when going first, even when opponent has Night Assailants. But when opponent does not have them, it's almost surely correct to bring this card in. You do not bring it in, however, against decks that are very aggro, because oftentimes they will quickly attack your life points and you will not have enough time to assemble a successful card destruction for many pluses. In addition to that, they also play dash shoots, which will also make your card destruction very unusable. Two mind controls are obviously played against mirror match for Chaos Turbo, so that you can steal their flips and steal also their chaos monsters. Swords are for the aggro matchups. Swords actually turns out to be one of the stronger cards in those matchups, I think, because basically it gives you the returns, and in aggro language this is like infinite card advantage. So no, okay, seriously, like it's very strong, even though it dies in returns, but it's more than enough for you to assemble your other cards and survive. So that's all you need to do against aggro. Basically, just survive, and then your deck will win in his own against them in late game. Third Regeki break, it's I think super important, and maybe it deserves a little more discussion. So why do we side third break if we don't? If you say it, if it's so good and we don't main it? We don't main it because some matchups like Chaos Mirror and Warrior are a little bit faster, and basically everyone also sides dash shoots, so it makes it harder to have a live discard fodder with Regeki break at all times. Therefore we side it against matchups that do not belong in this category. So basically this is control, because control is a slower deck, slower matchup, and therefore you will have Regeki breaks. You can wait with them a little until you draw your discard fodders, and additionally they are very strong against them because you can chain them to creature swap, and most notably 2000 Ice Restrict. And also, of course, against burn. Some side configurations also include Dust Tornadoes or Mystic Walks for burn. This one just doesn't. But yeah, you can expect to also side Mystic Walks and Dust Tornadoes against burn. Nicey prefers Dust Tornadoes, me as well, but some people just prefer Mystic Walks. Some people also side Hysterical Fairy. Yeah. Okay, Sakuretsu armors are for all kinds of aggro decks that like to attack to win. And Solems are also for aggro, and you can also side them against control, because negating their place, their crucial place, basically leaves them with no substance whatsoever, and in there they kill you very difficult if you negate and regeki their every play. Okay, so this is it for the overview, and now let's actually get into some post-side configurations. What is this? Let's display Huribone here. So whatever. So let's start with control. So against control, we will definitely bring in this third Raigeki break, and of course, let's say if you feel like it, you can bring in 3 Solems. Of course, if they have like Decree, you know, you don't bring in 3 Solems. But let's just assume that they don't have Decree. They're like a standard against this style God control. Okay, let's say. So what would we bring out? I definitely like to bring 3 Dashuts because I don't care about their hand nearly as much as I do against Chaos Control, and additionally they can play with little monsters and with 2 or 3 cards in hand, so Dashut is the first that goes out. If you don't expect Decree, you can consider siding out Mystic Space. In this case we have 3 Decoiches and we want to side in Tsukuyomi, so just to make it simple, let's say we side out the Decoiche. So we also keep the same ratio of monsters. And now for the last card, if you notice that they are very passive, you can side out Mirror Force, like they don't attack you, they don't have Kaikos. You can side out Mirror Force. I like to side Mirror Force out sometimes. If I really see 0 substance monsters, like no Kaikos, no Abyss Soldiers, nothing that I can Snatch Steal, sometimes you can side out Snatch Steal as well. If they have Thunder Dragons and you don't feel like it, you don't have to bring in card destruction, but you know, it will look something along these lines. And if you have Book of Moon, of course you also keep Book of Moon in. If you have Asura, of course you also keep in Asura, but I'm not saying that you should side those cards or main them, but I'm just saying if you have them, they are good. Okay, so this was it for the control matchup, basically. Let's go back. Second most notable matchup is the aggro matchup, or warrior. Let's just say yes, of course there are many different warriors and we should separate between warriors and earth aggro. So let's actually do that because there are some different things. So let's first see warriors. I'm talking about standard warrior list, like 14 monsters, Blade Knights, 1 BLS, Kaikos, Mystical Swordsmen, stuff like that. No goblins, none of that bullshit. So standard warriors. Now let's first see what obviously goes out against them. Even though they sometimes bring in flips like Spies and Moths, we usually side out 3 Dashoots and 2 Noblemen. I mean, this much is obvious. And then because their entire monster and their entire advantage engine consists of basically killing your sets for free, we also side out the sets, the weak sets that we run. So basically those are Night Assailants and Decoiches, because okay, we keep Spies because spies are actually the strongest monster, and we also keep moths because they are also the strongest monsters for us if they turn Trinity into the game again, but also because they are lights, and we need some lights. So here we have 10 cards that we sided out, and so easily we have 10 cards to side in. Okay, here actually I have I here have 11 cards that I want to side in. So let's see what else could we bring out. Oh, sorry. So we said Decos, Night Assailants, Noblemans, and Dashuts. So here we have additional card that you need to side out, and we can decide between many cards. I don't know. Surely there is no monster that we can side out. So if we go second, we might consider siding out Duo. If we expect there will be no Zinks, we can side out MST, because we don't actually want to trade 1-for-1 with them. We actually want to accumulate cards. So MST is actually just best used when you chain it to Snatch Steal or for Zink. So it's not the best card. So definitely MST is potential side out here. And potentially we can side out Jar of Greed. I mean, Jar of Greed is good, but against Warrior, sometimes when you are top decking and you top deck Jar of Greed, this is just not what you want. You want a card that will be live immediately in your turn, like a set or something to protect your set, like Sakretsu. So it's between Duo, MST, and Jar of Greed, but I would say most of the time MST wins for side against Standard Warrior. Now, against Earth Aggro, let's say. Let's say we are playing against Earth Aggro. This is the deck that plays sometimes triple Giant Red. Mostly it plays 3 Goblin attack forces, and it plays Gigantis, and basically he just attacks you infinitely until you die. Even with Fairy Lily, I mean the Lily card that hits you for 3000 damage and stuff like that. So what are the notable changes that we do considering the Earth Aggro deck? First, they don't play so many warriors with 1000 or less defense, so Tsukuyomi is not so good. Additionally, wasting a summon on a spirit in this deck against that deck is very detrimental to your health, so another reason why Tsukuyomi would not go in. Zombiras, I think, would mostly go in, even though they get killed by Lily and by goblins, but you should realize that and play them accordingly, but nevertheless they would go in. Swords absolutely goes in. This is like a game winning against them, and Sakuretsus go in. Solemn does not go in because they can just spit too much damage, and with multiple special summons like Gigantis and Rivavas and Lilies, and so it's not worth to kick out all those life points for Solemns. And also there's just not so much you want to Solemn against them, because they don't actually negate your flips, they just aggro you, so it's not so important to stop their monsters. It's more important to protect your life points. So what goes out? Definitely Noblemans, although they sometimes also side flips or already mine spies, but it's not important, just side them out. And to accommodate Zombiras, we definitely want to side out the coaches. Assailants are good, because Assailants will sponge a lot of the attacks, First, one Assailant will absorb the attack and he will kill another monster, so this is actually great. And now what else? For the traps, we can also definitely side out MST, because comparing to warriors, they have even less back row, so, and almost never side Zinc. But we also have these dash shoots. Well, sometimes you can dash shoot them, but I personally don't like dash shoot, so maybe even dash shoot should go out. And now in this case we don't have a proper ratios to make this perfect. Let's say you could run car destruction because we are keeping knight assailants, and if you want to get rid of all the dash shoots, for example, something like that. Okay. This is for the aggro. Now we have Chaos Turbo and Burn left. So Chaos Turbo will be the simplest in this configuration. We do not do anything fancy, as you will see. So in this configuration we just bring in double mind control. And if this were an icy deck, we would not even main torrential, so he would do something like this. No MST in main, no torrential in main, and this is basically the post side for the mirror. But if you really like torrential, I don't know, you have to cut something else. Maybe the Koichi. Yeah, basically no other choice. So it's between this and this, I guess. And also, if you want to main Tsukuyomi, you can also side her in or main, but it doesn't matter here. Okay, and now lastly, for burn. For burn, MST is also in the main. Let's say we use this for the main. So for burn, we can bring Tsuku. No zombies, they cannot pressure. Card destruction. Swords, not really, because they will just giant runate, and we have other stuff, and we bring break. We bring armor if they play panda, and almost every deck, every successful burn deck in the time of the making of this video plays pandas, so 3 Sakuretsus. And if you have walks and dust tornadoes, also bring in walks and dust tornadoes. Now what goes out? Easily 3 spies, and there's a very simple explanation for siding out spies, and it's just Ojama Trio. You do not want to have 2 spies and then your opponent flips Ojama Trio on you. This will be immediately game over. So some players say that you can play just 1 spy, but why? So I mean, it's possible, some defense, some attack, but it's enough if you play, especially if you play 3 decoys. It's just great to side out all 3, and decoys are good against burn. And this is what we side out for monsters, and we also side out dash shoots, because they will have just 0 cards in hand all the time, most of the time. So, and then this is our post configuration for burn. And let's say that if you have dust tornadoes, you need to side out 2 more cards. You can find something. If they play chain energy, maybe jar of grids are a little bit dangerous, because you have to set them, activate them, draw a card. So maybe if you had dust tornadoes and they have chain energy, you could consider siding out jar of grids. Definitely you can consider, I mean, if you have dust tornadoes, definitely most often you could side out snatch steal, because there's not much you want to steal with them. Sometimes panda, sometimes lily, but not really. Ideally you want to get rid of them with Regagi breaks and scratches and such. And yeah, okay, this is basically it. Now I just remembered, for bonus I can quickly show how I would also side against like a generic reasoning gate turbo deck. Let's see. And so the theory against combo decks like reasoning gates is also is basically similar to burn. You just want to pressure them as fast as possible. So our deck will be made in this sense. Sakuretsus we do not bring often because they have giant tornadoes before making their pushes. Same reason for revealing light. Yeah, okay. So usually Dash Shoot is great against them because they do have hand size, so we will keep this. Torrential we can keep, Ring we can keep, Breaks we definitely keep, Mirror Force we can keep, or we can side it out. What we definitely want to side out are Noblemans because they never set any back row. We sometimes side out heavy. We can keep heavy if we expect them to side like Mirror Force Torrential and Decrease or other floodgates, but we can consider siding out Heavy Storm. MST is good because whatever they set in the end phase, like Scapegoats, we can chain this in end phase and kill it, so always leave MST. And for the monsters, the cards that don't apply quick pressure can go. And also, I mean, we usually don't expect to really summon much chaos monsters in this matchup because they just last a couple of turns and our graveyard will mostly remain empty, so we can consider siding out also sorcerers. And because of the speed of the game, we can also consider siding out Serpent, but let's see how this configuration goes. So here I listed a couple of potential side out cards, and what we want to bring in mostly are, let's say, Tsuko, Card Destruction, Regeki Break, and Solemns. So let's say if you want to bring in this 6, we can side out something like this, for example. For going first, this should be pretty strong against them. Just to give you an idea, something like that. Tsukuyomi can be in, can go instead of Sangan, for example. Something like that. Okay. This is basically how I side with the standard, if you call this a standard Chaos Turbo deck, and that's mostly everything that I wanted to cover here. Unfortunately, some very great Chaos Turbo videos are now private, and they can't be seen anymore. But so yeah, this is just for the side deck. That's it. Okay, enough of me. Take care, stay healthy, eat good food, don't post it on the Discord, and see you next time.